Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you beautiful, brilliant souls. Let me ask you something. How did you begin your day today? Was it with intention or was it with urgency? Was it with clarity or was it with chaos? Because the way we rise in the morning, those quiet golden minutes right after we open our eyes, they hold the power to shape not only our day, but our destiny. Now, if you study the lives of highly successful people, and I mean the ones who aren't just wealthy, but also peaceful, joyful, and deeply fulfilled, you'll find one thing in common. They don't leave their mornings to chance. They own them. They command them. They protect them. They understand a truth most people overlook. The first hour of your day is the foundation of your entire day. That hour decides how you walk into your meetings, how you show up for your family, how clearly you think, and how confidently you act. But let me tell you this, it's not about perfection. It's about intention. You see, successful people don't always feel like jumping out of bed. They don't always feel like meditating or exercising or journaling. But they do it anyway. Why? Because they've built discipline? They know that motivation is fleeting, but discipline is what brings results. Some rise early to move their bodies, not to chase an aesthetic, but to honor the strength they'll need throughout the day. Some sit quietly with a journal or a prayer to connect to something greater than themselves. Some map out their top 3 goals, not 10, not 20, just 3, that will move their life forward that day. They are not reacting to life. They are designing it one morning at a time. And it's not all fancy routines or expensive tools. No green juices or Himalayan salt lamps required. What matters is that their rituals are theirs. Simple, repeatable, and deeply aligned with what makes them feel powerful and grounded. It might be 10 minutes of silence, a brisk walk outside, writing down a single intention, reading a paragraph from a book that speaks to the soul. These small actions, when done consistently, become rituals of greatness. Because success is not born at the finish line, it's born in the early hours, when the world is quiet and your spirit has space to speak. So I say this to you, don't underestimate the power of your morning. Don't rush past it. Don't sleep through it. Design it. Own it. Love it. Because when you win the morning, you win the day. And when you stack enough winning days, you begin to change your life. The first hour of your day is sacred. It sets the tone, the energy, and the mindset you'll carry with you through every meeting, every decision, and every interaction. Highly successful people understand this with absolute clarity. They know that those first 60 minutes are not just about waking up. They are about rising with intention, with purpose, and with power. Think about it. How often do we roll out of bed, grab our phones, and instantly dive into emails, notifications, and the demands of the world? From the moment our eyes open, we become reactive. We surrender our peace and focus before we've even had the chance to center ourselves. But those who lead extraordinary lives don't start their days like that. They start them with awareness. Successful individuals know that the morning isn't just a gap between sleep and work. It's a launch pad. What they do with that hour gives them control over how the rest of the day unfolds. Instead of being driven by outside forces, they take the wheel. They understand that their energy is a resource, and how they begin the day determines how much of that energy they retain or give away. When you study leaders, creatives, entrepreneurs, and high performers, you'll find unique routines, but all of them are built around a shared belief. The first hour is where clarity is found. It's the moment to remind themselves of who they are, what they want, and how they intend to show up in the world. Some spend that first hour in silence, meditating, praying, or simply breathing. They know that before they listen to the world, they need to listen to themselves. Others move their bodies yoga, stretching, or a quick workout, not just for fitness, but to awaken their strength and feel grounded in their physical presence. Some write in journals, laying out thoughts, goals, and gratitude. That process doesn't just organize their day, it aligns their mindset. Now, this isn't about adding a bunch of tasks to an already busy life. This is about creating rituals, not routines. A ritual is something sacred. It's something you commit to because it nourishes you. It doesn't have to be long, and it doesn't have to be complicated, but it does have to be intentional. One of the most powerful shifts successful people make is choosing not to wake up and jump into chaos. They take that first hour to build mental clarity. They get clear on what matters most that day. They remind themselves of the bigger picture, not just the to-do list. And this clarity isn't just for productivity, it's for peace. It's for presence. It's for power. When you give yourself time in the morning to align your thoughts and energy, you stop reacting to life. You start creating it. You walk into your day not with stress, but with calm authority. You don't just manage your time, you command your space. That's what the first hour gives you. It's a foundation. And here's what's even more beautiful. You don't need to be a CEO, a millionaire, or a guru to do this. You don't need special tools or a fancy setup. All you need is the willingness to reclaim your morning, to protect your energy, to build habits that feed your spirit before you give to the world. Because when the morning is yours, the day is yours. And when you string together days like that, days that begin with purpose, you start to change your path. You start to rise, not just out of bed, but into the life you are meant to lead. Discipline is the heartbeat of success. And nowhere is that more evident than in the morning routines of highly successful people. They don't rely on fleeting motivation to get them out of bed or to start their day with intention. They rely on commitment, habit, and inner accountability. They know that discipline is what keeps the vision alive long after the excitement wears off. Motivation, by its nature, is inconsistent. It comes and goes. It might show up one morning when the weather is perfect, when you feel rested, when everything aligns just right. But what about the other mornings, the cold ones, the tired ones, the ones where nothing feels quite right? That's where discipline steps in. Successful people don't wait to feel like doing something. They do it because it aligns with who they are becoming. Their mornings are not governed by emotion. They are governed by values, by intention, and by the long game. It's a common misconception that high achievers jump out of bed every morning full of excitement and energy. The truth is, many days, they don't feel like it either, but they've trained themselves to act in alignment with their goals rather than their mood. That's the power of discipline. It builds a bridge between where you are and where you want to be, and that bridge is walked every day, one small, consistent step at a time. Consider the person who decides to meditate every morning at 6 a.m. It's not glamorous. It's not always easy, but over time it builds focus, calm, and resilience. Or the entrepreneur who reviews their goals daily, not because it's thrilling, but because repetition programs the mind for action. Or the athlete who shows up to train, not because it's fun every time, but because greatness demands consistency. These actions become automatic not because they're always enjoyable, but because they've been practiced with discipline. This is why routines matter so deeply to the successful. They eliminate the need for daily decision-making. When you've made the decision once to create a habit, you no longer have to negotiate with yourself every morning. Should I do this? Should I skip it today? That debate disappears. Discipline silences the noise and keeps the commitment front and center. What makes this even more powerful is that discipline breeds confidence. Every time you follow through on a promise you've made to yourself, you send a message to your subconscious that you are reliable. You can trust yourself. You are someone who does what they say they will do. And that kind of internal trust is rare and incredibly powerful. It means you're no longer depending on external validation to feel worthy. You've built that strength from the inside out. Success doesn't come from grand, once-in-a-while efforts. It comes from showing up day after day, especially when it's hard. The discipline to rise early, to stick to your morning commitments, to keep showing up even when no one is watching, that is what separates those who wish for success from those who live it. And the beautiful part, discipline is not reserved for the elite. It's available to all of us. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about doing what matters most, even when you don't feel like it. Even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. So when you design your morning, don't design it for the days you feel motivated. Design it for the days you don't. Build it on the back of discipline. Because that discipline will carry you through the resistance. It will build your character. It will turn ordinary mornings into the foundation of an extraordinary life. The most successful people in the world understand a fundamental truth. You cannot perform at your highest level unless you are in alignment mentally, physically, and spiritually. Their morning routines are not just about getting things done or checking boxes. They are designed with care to nourish the whole person. Because when your mind is clear, your body is energized, and your spirit is grounded, you step into your day with a power that is calm, confident, and deeply rooted. Mental clarity is often the first piece of the puzzle. Our minds wake up already full thoughts from yesterday, anxieties about today, distractions waiting to pull us in every direction. Highly successful people create space in the morning to clear that mental clutter. This might be through meditation, journaling, reading, or simply sitting in silence. They don't rush into the noise of the world before they've had time to connect with their own thoughts. This act of pausing before engaging isn't just calming, it's strategic. It allows them to decide what matters today, to choose what they'll give their energy to, rather than reacting to every demand that comes their way. And it's not just about the mind. The body plays a crucial role in how we show up. Morning movement is a powerful signal not just to the muscles, but to the brain. It says, I'm awake, I'm here, I'm ready. This doesn't always mean a full workout. For some, it's yoga or stretching. For others, a brisk walk or some breath work. The point isn't to train like an athlete, unless that's your goal. The point is to reconnect with your body first thing in the morning, so you carry that sense of physical presence into your day. When your body feels alive and strong, your mind performs better, your decisions improve, and your confidence rises. Then, there's the spirit, the often overlooked part of morning routines that separates good from great. Highly successful people often begin their day with some form of spiritual grounding. This could be prayer, reading something inspirational, expressing gratitude, or simply setting an intention for the day. What matters is that they take a moment to remember that life is bigger than their to-do list, that they are more than just workers, more than just achievers. They are human beings with purpose, with connection, with values. That spiritual grounding brings perspective. It brings grace. It reminds them that no matter how busy the day becomes, they have an anchor they can return to. When challenges arise, and they always do, this inner foundation keeps them centered. While others may get knocked off course, they return to the strength they built in the quiet of the morning. What's powerful about this approach is the integration. The mind, the body, and the spirit are not separate lanes, they are intertwined. When you give time and care to all three, you don't just start your day feeling good, you start it aligned. You move from intention. You respond rather than react. You create rather than consume. You serve from overflow, not depletion. This is the difference that creates true success, not just external achievement, but inner peace. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what you accomplish, it's about who you become. And when your morning routine honors your whole self, you become someone who is not only productive but powerful, not only focused but fulfilled. So, if you're building your own morning routine, ask yourself, how am I feeding my mind? How am I energizing my body? How am I grounding my spirit? Don't rush past these questions. Sit with them. Let them guide your habits. Because when all three parts of you are aligned, success is not something you chase, it's something you naturally attract. There's a common myth about morning routines that they have to be elaborate, time-consuming, and filled with every self-help trend under the sun to be effective. That's simply not true. The most successful people understand that consistency will always outperform complexity. They don't aim to create perfect routines. They aim to create sustainable ones. Because it's not what you do once in a while that transforms your life. It's what you do every single day, especially when no one's watching. In our culture of productivity and performance, there's often a pressure to make your mornings look like a highlight reel, an hour of yoga, 20 minutes of journaling, a 10-step skincare routine, reading a chapter of a book, making a green smoothie, and writing your goals for the next decade. It's exhausting just thinking about it. But successful people know better. They focus on what works for them. They strip away what's trendy and keep what's timeless. They know that the real magic is found in simplicity that's repeated with intention. Imagine a morning routine that's just 3 things. Wake up, stretch for 5 minutes, and write down 3 things you're grateful for. That's it. If you did just that every single morning for a year, your mindset, your body, and your emotional state would shift dramatically. It's not the size of the routine, it's the power of doing it consistently that counts. And that's what successful people build into their lives. When routines are too complicated, they're harder to maintain. Life happens. You oversleep. A child gets sick. You have an early meeting. If your routine is rigid or overwhelming, you'll skip it entirely. But if your routine is simple and adaptable, you'll find a way to stick with it even on tough days. And that's where the real discipline and transformation come in, not from perfection, but from persistence. Highly successful people design their mornings to fit their lives, not to impress others. Their routines aren't copied and pasted from someone else's YouTube video or best-selling book. They are curated through trial and error, through self-awareness, and through reflection on what truly energizes and focuses them. For some, that might be a quiet cup of tea while reading affirmations. For others, it might be a 5-minute guided meditation followed by a power walk. The structure is secondary. The consistency is what matters, because what you do every day becomes who you are. If you consistently start your morning by honoring yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, then you're reinforcing a message to your subconscious that you are worthy of time, focus, and care. That belief becomes part of your identity. And from that identity, everything changes. You start making different decisions. You show up differently. You carry yourself with intention. This is why simple, consistent routines are so powerful. They help you start your day with a win. Before the emails, before the demands, before the distractions, you've already shown up for yourself. You've already claimed the day as yours. And that small win becomes momentum. It's easier to make healthy choices, to stay focused, to respond with patience when your day begins from a place of grounded clarity. So if you've been thinking that a successful morning means waking up at 4 a.m. and doing a 2-hour ritual, let that go. Start small. Start with something meaningful. Start with something you can repeat, and build from there. Because a 5-minute practice done daily will beat a 60-minute practice done occasionally every time. Success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right things over and over again. That's the power of simplicity. That's the beauty of consistency. And that's how you turn an ordinary morning into the foundation of an extraordinary life. Ladies and gentlemen, when we look at the lives of highly successful people, it's easy to assume that the secret lies in grand strategies or massive resources, but more often than not, their real power begins in the quiet, consistent choices they make every single morning. It's in how they rise, how they prepare, and how they align their minds, bodies, and spirits before the world even demands anything of them. We've explored how the first hour of the day sets the emotional and mental tone for everything that follows. We've seen that discipline, not motivation, is the fuel that keeps these routines alive, especially on the days when it's hardest to show up. We've talked about alignment, how feeding all parts of yourself helps you move through life with purpose instead of pressure. And finally, we've learned that it doesn't take complexity to be effective. It takes simplicity, intention, and unwavering consistency. These routines are not just habits, they're declarations. Every morning, successful people declare that their lives are valuable, their time is meaningful, and their energy deserves protection. And that power, the power to choose how you begin, belongs to you too. You don't need to overhaul your entire life to create change. You only need to take one small step each morning. One act of clarity, one moment of focus, one expression of gratitude. String enough of those mornings together, and you will not only transform your days, you will transform your destiny. So tomorrow, when the alarm goes off and the world starts calling, pause. Choose you first. Choose a morning that reflects the life you want to live. Because how you start your day is how you live your life, and when you start with purpose, you lead with power,